So I'm making this video because I was asked by a Redditor to show, to demonstrate something when making your own sketchbooks and signatures for your own sketchbooks. So what this particular person wanted to know was a way, like kind of a trick to keep from having to trim your edge over here. Normally when you make a signature for a book, you fold together pages like this and you take a bone folder and you really crease this fold very crisply. And then when you do that and you put a lot of pieces of paper together, you have a bulk of uneven edges over here that you have to then put a ruler onto and cut with an X-Acto knife. So there's actually kind of a trick, if you're not using too many pages, there's a trick to do this where you don't have to do that trimming. And basically it involves the best way is to hide that kind of imperfection is probably to use paper with a deckled edge like this, and to use a sewing machine to do your binding, which I've done here. And I'm going to demonstrate how to fold the paper with this single sheet of watercolor paper here that I've already kind of started folding. So I took a really big sheet, imperial sheet of watercolor paper, and kept folding it in half and ripping it down to size to where I got something that would work in frame, basically, so I could demonstrate this. So what you want to do is, instead of using a bone folder and getting this fold really crisp, you want to keep it kind of rough. And actually you want to do that when you're tearing your pages down to size as well, because that gives you more of a deckled edge. So you just pinch at the corner here after you line these corners up. You pinch at this corner, you flip it, line these corners over here up, and then you pinch again. And then you just kind of make this fold. And you keep pinching all the way down. You can just flip it to kind of keep it even until you get kind of this rough fold over here. So you don't want this real crisp. You can see that it's got kind of like some unevenness to it. You want to do that to both of your pages that you're making this signature out of, or however many you're doing. I wouldn't really suggest using too many, because if you're sewing this with a machine, you're not going to be able to fit too many pieces of thick watercolor paper in there. So you put them together and you line up the folds, and then you go ahead and you put it through your sewing machine and you sew up the binding. And then what you want to do is, after you've got them sewn in place, and when you sew them, you want to make sure you do something like this, where you put them, you clip them together to keep them straight and even while you're sewing. So you want some kind of way of clipping them together to do that. And then when you've got it sewn in the middle, you take it and you back fold it the opposite way of your original fold. And when you do that, all of your edges over here will be roughly even, and they're deckled, so it won't be noticeable hardly at all. But you will have this kind of rough sewn edge here on your binding, and your pages will not need trimming on the edges. So that is, I just wanted to use this piece of paper to demonstrate the fold and the pinching method. If you do decide to use the pinching method to fold down your paper to a smaller size, and then you end up ripping. This is what your deckled edge looks like on that rough. So it looks really similar to an actual deckled edge. So I hope this helps the Redditor cheat with making signatures for their own sketchbooks for watercolor. Thanks.